part, we have a lot to talk about. And if I'm being quite honest with you guys, this episode was not as great as people hyped it up to be, which I already had doubts of. Let's get into it. Cue the intro.
Warning, the following video you are about to see comes from a geek and nerd who loves Marvel content and anime shows. Over here, we do not hold our tongue about anything and give you the most honest opinion about our chosen video topic. We do things that other content creators don't do. If you want someone like you to dissect said topic, subscribe and join other geeks in this space. While you are at it, leave a like on the video. Enjoy.
So y'all heard what I said in the beginning. This episode, it was okay. Was it great or exponentially super cool? Not really. It wasn't. It just seemed like a regular Loki episode to me. The way people were hyping it up, I'm thinking we finna see some type of variant. I'm thinking we finna see this, see that, and nah. And obviously, if you're watching this, I'm expecting that you already have seen Loki, the episodes. Recap and discussion for those who have been watching. Y'all know how this works. But if you're new, I'm recapping and discussing. I'll tell the event in order, but I actually explain, at least to me, how I interpret the things that are going on. So to start, we have Victor Timely basically coming out and seeing how the TVA looks. He's looking and seeing how the TVA looks. And I feel like this is because he or a variant of him built the same TVA that he's in right now. As well as he was a person who was always looking up to the TVA, and the TVA was something he always wanted to join or visit. So for him to be able to actually be in the TVA, it's kind of like an out-of-body experience for him. We continue and we see him meet up with Loki and Mobius, and they try to take him to go see OB so they can fix the loom. That's one thing you'll have to continue to think about. What we're doing here is everything we're trying to do is in hopes of fixing the loom and making the bands larger so more timelines and branches can fit in so they can weave it in to be one single timeline. We continue with the episode. So this episode is fast paced. It's moving. We continue, and next we see Victor Timely meet OB. And once again, we have another time paradox. A time paradox is when for one thing to happen, something else has to happen. But for that something else to happen, that one thing has to happen. So it's a loop, and I'll kind of explain that weird, but it's a loop. And they give the example of a snake eating its tail. He meets OB, and what we find out is that Victor Timely, we already had known that Victor Timely had known everything he known because of the TVA book that OB wrote. But it turns out OB wrote that book, so he says, based off of Victor Timely, which, to be honest, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. It didn't make sense when I watched it, but I let it slide. I was like, hold on. How did you write a book based off of a variant from the 19th century? That don't really make sense to me. So kind of have to be suspicious of OB and what his plans are and what he's doing. But of course, after they get explained, after OB explains to us the reason again why we're doing what we're doing, we see Sylvia and Mobius sneak off, and we get two sides of a coin. Like, I think it was episode 2 or 3 where I was saying that Mobius is like, his thoughts are becoming conflicting because a lot of people want him to be suspicious about what his variants are like, and it's like he really doesn't care. And you have the person who's saying that, which is none other than Sylvie. Sylvie was saying all the right things, but it wasn't the right person to be saying. Sylvie is a character so far who we have known to not really be good with her decision making, to rush into things, want to solve all her problems by killing. And so far, Sylvie has done nothing but make things harder than what they need to be. So Sylvie's explaining like, hey, why don't you actually care about your variant? Why do you not care that some timelines might get erased? Is it because you haven't seen those timelines? If you go see those timelines, maybe you'll care because maybe there'll be a variant of you on the timeline. And it's like, dude, he doesn't care. Give it a rest. He don't care, bro. So, and if he does care, he's not telling anybody. And I feel like that's a good thing. You don't have to always let people know all your cards in the situation. Obviously, this is a fictional character, but in real life too, you don't have to let everybody know your cards and what you're thinking and what you're planning, especially a person like Sylvie. Why would he tell Sylvie what he's thinking and what he's... So we meet X5 again. X5 is the dude who had an actor complex and wanted to become an actor. And when we first see him, I'm like, okay, In the back of my head, I'm starting to think, okay, everybody was saying this episode was crazy good. Where's the crazy goodness? Not really the biggest fan of X5. He's really a wimp. So, I forgot. In the beginning of this episode, I should have mentioned this. Beginning of this episode, we're with Miss Minutes and Ravonna again. And basically, Ravonna and Miss Minutes shows Ravonna a thing that happened in the past, I'm guessing. He Who Remains was alive. Ravonna was there. And it's a thing where He Who Remains tells Miss Minutes to erase everybody's memories. So she just found out that she was actually in high ranking of He Who Remains, Kang or whatever, and she was doing most of the work. And now she doesn't know that because he erased everybody's memories. So now he's just gonna take over everything. That comes into play here, but we see Ravonna actually saying, hey, I can actually do all of this myself without needing Kang or He Who Remains. You have a couple of people who have that mindset as well, like a Loki. We get back, and Miss Minutes and Ravonna, they meet up with the prisoners. Right now, the prisoners are basically the TVA army and the person the actor, X5. So Ravonna says, hey, I need y'all to join with me. And before that, B13 asked the leader of the military army too, y'all want to join us because we're going to need y'all help. She says like, hey, why would I trust you? Why would I join you? And B13 is like, hey, I'll come back and let you think about it. Next, Miss Minutes and Ravonna says the same thing. And the captain of the TVA army, she's definitely like, why would I definitely join you? I'm not joining you. Matter of fact, I'd rather die than join you, which they do. But you know who joins them? X5. So X5 is working with Miss Minutes and Ravonna. And you could be asking, why is this important? I don't know. To me, X5 still isn't a major player in this whole situation. The only thing that he really has done, to be honest, is the fact that he knows some TVA secrets and all that crap. So, and he knows that he's a variant. But other than that, I really don't see the importance of him. But maybe we'll figure that out later on. They die, right? And I had mentioned Loki. I mentioned Loki and I mentioned Sylvie. And they have a conversation, which again, Loki is like, bruh, why are you doing everything you're doing? Why are you trying to still kill Victor Tomlin when he hasn't done anything wrong? And then, why did you let him go if you were so bent on killing him? Sylvie's like, That's all she's saying, a whole bunch of nothing. She's saying a whole bunch of nothing. Loki basically says you can't give somebody free will, meaning Victor Tomlin, and then not kind of guide them in the way they're supposed to go. And Sylvie, of course, has a problem with that because that's basically what He Who Remains was doing. And Sylvie's like, oh, we can't be God. We can't play God. And Loki tells her, which I feel like it's the second time he said this, man, we gods. What you talking about? We can't play gods and I'm a literal god. What you talking about? So I think we're starting to realize that He Who Remains probably, once again, would have been better off alive. Him being dead has caused all this. Fast forward, and basically we have the issue of, yes, this time loop thing is an issue, but not only is it an issue, it's an issue that we have to solve fast. And here's when it starts to get dicey with this episode. This is the only thing, this from here to the end is the only thing I can think of that made people say, oh, this episode was so great. It was so great. The writing in this was great. Because remember when I was telling y'all that, or the first episode, right? If y'all remember, Loki had to be pruned so he can go into the time thing and the temporal aura, have his aura be sent to the thing, so the machine could pull him out, all the pieces, so he'll stop jumping around. Remember that happened? And we was asking, hold on, so who pruned Loki and who did this? And why was Sylvie coming out of here if this Sylvie was, over here and da. This is the answer to that. We figure out Loki prunes Loki. This is also another time paradox. Loki realizes that him in the past needs to be pruned, and he can't not prune him in the past, because if he doesn't prune him in the past, guess what? His current self would not exist. So he has to prune himself. Boom. We see the reason why Sylvie was in the elevator. They had shut off all the temp pads, so nobody could really do anything. They have their magic now. Forgot to mention that. They have their magic, so Sylvie comes down the elevator, opens the elevator, and it's the exact scene that we had saw from episode 1. The exact same scene. And Sylvie, of course, is like, hold on, what just happened? I just seen a Loki prune a Loki. I'm confused. And the present Loki, we'll call Loki trenchcoat Loki, because that's what he had on. He says, We'll figure this out later. We'll talk about this later. And we found out that honestly, they don't get to talk about it later because soon after they die. Loki and Sylvie gets together. They answer that phone call that was ringing. The phone that was ringing, we was thinking it was some mysterious thing. That's why I hate these other YouTubers, bro. You'll hear a whole bunch of clickbaity theories and all type of stuff. Who pruned Loki? Or is it this person who pruned Loki? I feel like a variant of Sylvie pruning Loki was more interesting than OB pruning Loki or some weird crap like that. And then you have, oh, who was on the phone? Was it He Who Remains on the phone, or who was it Kane? I might have said He Who Remains, actually. My bad. Maybe I am one of them lame YouTubers. But anyway, you find out that it's actually OB who's calling them and said, hey, bro, can y'all hurry up because we don't have that much time. They figure out that, hey, they get in the picture. They grab Victor Timely from Ravonna and Miss Minutes. Victor Timely ends up having his head scanned. Boom. Tempora Aura's there. They have a long, drawn-out monologue of who has to go in the thing to set the thing off. Who has to go outside to set the temporal loom off and fix it. But they say multiple times that, hey, the radiation's up. Something's wrong with the radiation. It's a little high. So, for whatever reason, right, it's another thing that OB might be a little nefarious. OB, you knew last time that if a certain thing happened, that you will turn to spaghetti and your skin will peel off. But you don't know how much radiation there needs to be for that to happen? OB, what is going on? So everybody, Victor Timely goes out there, and to the shock of me, everybody else watching this, everybody in the temporal loom area, he gets shredded to bits. And everybody is looking like, oh my God, what are we doing now? And we see the multiverse is ending. And that's the episode. Unlike a lot of people, I'm actually a YouTuber who will admit that I have watched some theories on what other people have said. You have YouTubers who will actually just regurgitate what everybody else said and make it seem like they just came up with this stuff. No, I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. People are saying that, and I didn't know this until the season 5 trailer. I mean the episode 5 trailer, and I didn't even know they released trailer per episode either. People are saying that some way Loki and Sylvie will go back in time and just redo everything or figure out what went wrong so that doesn't happen. So my predictions is Loki and Sylvie go back in time. We get it, and then we get an episode where episode 5 is basically the whole thing of we have to fix what went wrong so we can actually solve the whole thing. And if you notice, the thing that mainly went wrong was the radiation. So maybe if they try to do this in a lesser time, they go all the way back and get Victor Timely, get him at an earlier point in time, get him faster, bring him, and now the loom is not crazy where the radiation is crazy bad, and now he fixes it. Maybe that fixes the problem, but we don't know exactly. So I'm pretty sure the episode 5 will basically just be them going back and forth and figuring out what to do. Episode 6 will most likely be the episode where 5 we get left off on the cliffhanger, and then 6 is the episode where it's the future now. We go to what happened after after they solved this issue, just like the last season. But so far, last video I said that my Loki hater percentage was going down. It hasn't changed with this episode. It's still the same. I think I said it was 45%, and it's probably still the same now. Because like I said, expectations really do something when you're watching a video, watching a movie, watching a show. Because when you have 30, 40 people say this is the episode to watch, and then I'm expecting something crazy, and then it's this, I'm like, y'all could have just kept it a bean and just, hushed it up. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Short video, to the point. If you love the video, like the video. Don't love the video, slide the video. I'm on the road to 200 subscribers. I appreciate everybody who continue to watch my videos, to continue to like and comment. But without further ado, I'm out. Peace.